Welcome to the Marketing Corner, hosted by Sean Campbell, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned small business owner, or a marketing pro looking to sharpen your skills, you're in the right place. We're all about bringing you the latest insights, strategies, and real-world advice to help you thrive in today's competitive market. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Here's your host, Sean Campbell.
Good Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Marketing Corner. I am your host, Sean Campbell, and my good buddy, David Bradley, is our co-host today.
Glad to be back, man.
Every time you're on the show, David, you bring one big local star after the next, after the next, after the next.
I'll tell you, bring
and
it.
Just when I think
it.
you can't reach someone, just God. And remember, I can't curse in the show, but if I would have cursed right there. No.
Okay.
David Adams?
Yeah.
We got David Adams.
Yeah, David Adams.
In the studio with us today on
David
the
Adams.
Marketing Corner.
There's a real quick. I just want to start with this. I shared this with David. I've known David for 20-something years now.
At least
20-something years.
Yeah.
He came out and talked to my team when I was coaching youth football. And, pumped them up and told them, he told my kids the story about him and everything. And they're like, I could just see it in their eyes. But when he was at the U of A, number two, I don't know if you remember this story, David.
I remember U of A number 2.
I wore number 2 at Tucson High.
Yes.
And I looked up to you. I mean, you were running back. I was a wide receiver, whatever. They would put me at whatever.
But I think David wore number 2 because he was the star tailback. Were you because you were a second stringer, right?
Yeah, I was Bradley. Maybe third or fourth. No, I did not start.
In all seriousness, David Adams, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's an honor to have you here, man.
It's just some buddies getting together, having a conversation.
We get to talk sports and business, 2 of the 3 things I have to talk about most.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, we won't mention what the third thing is. Not on radio, anyway.
Right.
I got a text from a buddy. He's like, never mind.
If you're new to Tucson, just a quick little rundown on David Adams. Sunnyside, went to U of A, drafted in the NFL draft in '87.
Played for my Cowboys.
Yeah, we was drafted with Colts.
Correct.
Right. Played with our Cowboys.
Our Cowboys.
Played with the L.A. Rams, the L.A. Raiders, back to the Rams.
Buccaneers too, right?
No.
Okay.
And finished up in the Canadian Football League.
Correct.
Yeah, so for a few years. I mean, that's been, from all the, these are the best of the best. And we always underestimate what it takes to reach that level in any sport, much less, football, hockey, all the big physical sports.
Yep.
I mean, David, what was your mindset to get to that place, and how did you have that career? That's what amazes me the most out of the athletes who make the top. It's like,
less than 1%?
Yeah. I mean, what was your mindset through all this?
We have nothing, and I am the chosen one of my family to be in a position to make some life-changing capital at that time, and it's what I did best.
Yeah.
So it really flowed together, because if what you do best can pay you a lot of money, and you come from no money, it just comes together very nicely.
Yeah, I mean, who were some of your mentors that kind of helped you because I would imagine going from Sunnyside to the U of A, I mean, how big of a leap was that? Was it just kind of natural staying in Tucson, or?
It was a big leap competition wise, but when you talk trash off the field, you got to always back it up everywhere that you go,
Right.
So I was the president of IBM, so switching to Sony, I had to go over there and let them know that, I'm just the smartest because I'm just the smartest. And playing football was, I mentioned to a few people that I was pretty damn good, and
you're all right.
Yes, you were, man.
And I had to constantly back that up, because I was constantly reminding people, of that thing. And so what it was is a lot of focus and a lot of enjoyment, because I was an extremely average student. I graduated high school with a 2.2. You needed a 2.0 to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
Graduated from college with a 2.2 also. So very, very, very average.
Yeah.
Because I believe in, different from a lot of people, put all your eggs in one basket and once that basket, focus on one thing. You don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
Because if you have a plan B, you're already ready to.
You got one foot out the door.
Say, well, if I don't make this,
man.
If I don't make this, I can always go and do that.
Right.
And a lot of people in their whole lives, if you don't get your first girlfriend, well, you're still seeing Betty on the side, so you can come back to her. No.
So if you keep that mindset, no plan B.
Yeah.
No.
It's always A. That's it.
That's it. And the problem is most of the time it takes longer than we anticipated.
Yeah.
Because true goals that mean a lot to either society or financially take a long time.
Right.
Becoming a millionaire, unless you fall into it, takes a long time. Billionaire takes a long time.
Yeah.
It just takes a long time.
And it's one thing the three of us have is, growing up in the 80s, 90s, I went to the U of A from 90 to 95 myself. So I would always cherish that era because we know what it takes to kind of, be patient.
Yeah.
Whereas, unfortunately, today's, including my 15-year-old son, he thinks he's going to have something tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh,
it's that
instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to make, $500 million in the next 2 years. Yeah.
Well, what they don't understand is the person that made $500 million had been working 20 years at it.
Right.
The person that makes it to the NFL, he didn't just start playing last week. He started playing 7, 8, 9, 10.
Right.
So you already got 15, 20 years into that profession before you get your opportunity. Even if you get drafted out of high school like you can in basketball, you've still been playing for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And people just think, well, he was just tall and came out and he just made a bunch of baskets and Pat Riley saw him.
We signed him.
Yeah.
Pat Riley saw him and just said, son, let me give you a contract. No, they don't count.
Yeah.
Your junior high, your high school, if you went to college, they don't count those years because it just happened overnight.
Did you play any other sports, David, growing up, or just all
I ran
football?
track in high school.
Yeah.
He was fast as hell, man.
Unfortunately, the mistake I made was I should have played baseball. And short story, I was playing basketball one day in high school, and this recruit, not a recruit, scout from the Dodgers was there.
There we go.
And I'm like, and he comes over, he says, "Oh, you'd make a perfect second baseman." And I looked at him like, "Man, I don't play baseball. I play football." He's like, No, you need to play baseball. I'm saying, "No, baseball's too slow and boring and blah, 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 blah." I could probably still be playing baseball at 60.
Yeah.
Because you could just, 20 years is not abnormal in baseball. But baseball just wasn't exciting enough for me.
Yeah.
And I felt that all my skills were in place for football.
Yeah.
They're not. They weren't in place for baseball. Even though I could play it and I could play basketball and things like that, but there's things that you notice that you just don't have. Not just from a physical standpoint, from a training standpoint. Hitting a baseball is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
David, you're an athlete, man.
Right.
Yeah. You could do whatever.
No, it comes together. Being an athlete means you have a head start. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work.
Right.
Correct.
That's the key.
Right.
Oh, you're 6'10". That just means you have an advantage over people in basketball.
Right.
You still got to work.
Yeah, David. And David Adams, David Bradley. I've got to make sure I distinguish you guys for the audience.
D2.
You saw a few games this week for the World Baseball Classic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. David Adams, did you get a chance to go out there this week?
I went out last year to all of them. I didn't go to any of them this year.
Yeah. I was watched Germany, pulling for Germany because I grew up in Germany, and watching them against Brazil. I don't know, man. I think I still have the mentality I could have taken a few at bats at some of the Brazilian pitchers, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, come on. They were maybe throwing low 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah. There was some high
beep.
high
Andre
80s.
Agassi and Steffi Graf's son was out there.
Jaden,
pitching
he's a pitcher for Germany. Yeah.
And Dante Bichette, who's a longtime Colorado Rocky, his son.
Manny Ramirez, his son.
Really?
Yeah.
For who? Brazil?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Brazil. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some low key, maybe not this big mega stars, but just some good names out there.
We had it was a good turnout. I mean, we had Andre was there with Steffi, and Manny Ramirez Sr. was there.
That was cool.
It was
a nice
cool.
turnout. I think Tucson supported the tournament very, very well.
Oh yeah,
so,
it was cold last night. Or 2 nights ago.
Well, you were at the concert last night. That's why you're a little droopy today.
Yeah,
that's a whole other story.
Yeah, vanilla.
We're going to get into our first break. We got David Bradley, my co-host, and very, very special guest, David Adams. Here in the Marketing Corner, I'm your host, Sean Campbell. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're back in the Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Sean Campbell. Co-host David Bradley, Medicare A to Z. How's business going, David?
Yes, sir. It's going well, man. I moved into the new space in Green Valley.
Yeah, congratulations on that, man. Very proud of you.
Again,
very
it was a second office, but we have the office here in Tucson, but now I've got a retail space, storefront.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and very special guest David Adams. I wanted you to brag about your company as well at some point during this conversation. So that's what it's all about.
Yep.
To put you in the spotlight and just kind of brag that we have you on our show today.
I've never really had a problem with bragging.
right.
So,
hey, David, I think you're more of the MIS, multiple income sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no, but I'm into cash flow. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely a lot into learning, because there's a million ways to make $1 million, and if most people only know 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of ways to really become successful financially.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to always have your nose to the grindstone.
After your football career, what did you kind of dive into, David?
That's interesting, because of some buddies of mine that I went to high school with and also played college ball, Jerry Beasley, Murphy Cottrell, we got into concert promotions.
Wow.
So that was very, very interesting, because
there's entertainment
is not what people think. It's just like it takes 3 days to make a 10-minute commercial. And it's
3, that's it?
Yeah, for a 10-minute commercial. A movie takes 6 or 7 months, and it's 2 hours.
Right.
And you just learn different things in the field that you thought people just got up and they just act. Why are you at my house?
Yeah.
Well, you said it wrong. Do it again. And you got to do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I got a degree in love scenes, so over and over and over.
That's a whole nother show there, David Adams.
I wish it was true.
Like I always said, I wish this show was 2 hours long, not an hour.
I know. Oh man, so
we could talk all day.
Yeah. Was there anybody like in NFL or CFL that maybe helped you plant the seed on how to prepare for your next life?
You hear it, but at 20, 21, 22, you don't worry about it, because you're going to be playing for as long as you want.
Right. Yeah.
And you get to put all this money away, and nothing happens. And when they say the average for a football player is 3.7 years, well, that's for everybody else.
Back.
Yeah.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And then you say, well, that's for everybody else, because I'm going to play 10 because and it has nothing to do. Well, what about if you get hurt? That's not how. That's not the number one thing that gets you out of there.
Yeah.
The number one thing that gets you out of there is you get cut, because now it's time to up your money, and we've just found somebody that's almost as good as you, and they'll take half.
Right.
That's the thing that people don't understand.
If you don't want to talk about this particular topic, then just tell me no. Let's talk about something else. But the natural progression, I find the NIL very intriguing today. The money that the college athletes are making today, right?
Crazy.
I get it. I understand it, what they mean to the universities. But personally, one thing that I have a problem with is that the value of education is not somewhere in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, David Adams, with your career, you're being involved in the U of A and NFL, CFL. What's your take on the NIL?
I have no problems with it, because they ripped off the athletes for 150,000 years. I don't have a problem with it, because you owe.
Yeah.
You owe big money. You've been making billions for years, and if I got a job on the side, you would take my scholarship away.
Yeah.
Not ask you for some money. Just got a job on the side.
Right.
And what happened when you got a job on the side, all of a sudden you were working at a gas station making $10,000 a month. So they knew You see, that's what started it.
Right.
But I think it was long overdue. But I think they need to do it in a way that's responsible.
Control a little bit.
The other thing is that we only hear about the big money people, just like in the NFL.
Right.
See, there could be a lot of people that are making $2,000 a month on NIL. Who cares about that story?
Right.
But this guy makes $2 million, and he got a free Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what happens in the NFL. You know, 10% of the league makes 90% of the money. The majority of the league is at the league minimum, whatever that may be. I think for the NFL right now it's $700,000, which is still fantastic money. But the thing about it is we only want to hear about this quarterback is making $50 million, and this, you know, but we don't know that the bulk of the people aren't making that type of money.
Yeah, like a said running back out of Tucson, I don't want to mention names and everything, played for University of Texas, driving a Lamborghini.
Yeah. You know, I think one of my biggest concerns, and not that nobody cares about what I think, it's just I hope these guys have a financial advisor in their corner to realize don't blow all your money, you know, just learn how to put some aside and do this and plan, you know, for, you know, your life after professional sports, you know.
But here's the problem with that. Everybody needs that, not just athletes.
Right. See, you're 100% right.
Teach that in high school.
100% right.
Start in high school.
Yeah.
We can't teach that in high school because then you'll be ahead of the game. You won't want to be an employee. You want to be a business owner. So they don't want that. We need somebody. I need to be the business owner. I need people to work for me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to tell you, if you put 10% of your money away, you're going to be fine.
Right.
The thing about it is that you only hear about the rags to riches, rags again stories because, he had $200 million.
Yeah.
What about the lottery winners that go broke?
Yeah. Yeah. Almost all of them do.
What about the people that just inherit from dad? They go broke.
Right.
Everybody goes through a cycle of when you got a big lump sum of money. Well, that's the answer to all your problems because society says the answer to all your problems is money. Not the fact that your wife cheated on you, Mr. Millionaire. Why are all these big money people going through divorces? There's more to life than money. Not that money's not important. But it is. But I agree with you. There needs to be some kind of financial management done because you shouldn't, when you get that type of head start in life, 10, 15, $20 million, you shouldn't be struggling for the rest of your life.
Right. And I say that also because I know as a 20-year-old, I would do just that. I would blow it through like nothing.
Because
because
you have to understand what money means. Money means freedom, but you don't know that rich people, they have all the toys that you like in the houses, but they own a strip mall that pays the payment on the Ferrari. So you didn't pay cash for the Ferrari. You just want to put a down payment down, and the strip mall makes the payment. But me and you, because we didn't know that, we have no financial literacy.
Leverage.
We went and paid cash for that sucker. $200,000. Is that all? Take it.
And guess what? My bank account is zero.
Now, you got the Ferrari, you got the look, but you don't have any income because you spent it all on the car and the house. And you forgot that the maintenance on the vehicle is ridiculous. You got a 10,000 square foot house on 50 acres, but maintaining that thing.
It's like when I bought a boat. I was like, I own a boat. I'm like,
you bought a boat?
Really? No, it was years ago. I had a boat, right?
No.
But you know,
here in Tucson?
We went to Phoenix all the time. The two best moments in buying a boat, buying it and selling it.
Without a doubt. You know, it's nice to invite your friends over to your 20,000 square foot house for you and your girlfriend. 20,000 square feet, 10 bedrooms. It's cool.
As long as electricity's on.
But who's going to clean this thing? You hooked up with her because she's extremely attractive. She hooked up with you because you got a lot of money. And nobody cleans or cooks. But you got a 2,000 square foot kitchen.
Dave, have you been there?
well, let me put it to you like this. I've never had a 2,000 square foot kitchen. I still don't know how to cook, but I was never fortunate to make life-altering income. So that it was tough.
During your career, Dave, what did you do for like to your downtime? Did you have downtime? Did you mentally how did you mentally, take care of yourself as a pro athlete?
Because you hear about all these, pro athletes, and
right.
we know Vance Johnson's story, right? I mean,
yeah. Did you? Was that part of your routines? Like I got to take every Tuesday off. I got to take Monday off. You know what I mean? Or were you just so wired every day? This is what you got to do.
Well, here's the thing: when you're a late round draft choice, they're already telling you we don't believe. When you're when you're a All-American in high school and all city, all state, and you get one scholarship offer, they already told you they don't believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to sit back and look at things correctly, and also understand that if you make $200,000-$300,000 in a particular season, how's that going to last you your whole life?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that I'm most proud of about myself is I never drank and I never did drugs. Still to this day, I'm 60 years old and I've never done. And I don't.
You're 60?
Yeah. He looks phenomenal.
You look great, man.
Younger than two of us.
I look about 70 this morning.
No, I have a degree in sexy looks.
You got great genes, my man.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Again, the confidence is coming through. So I think some of that's going to rub off on me for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is, my man? If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to.
That's true.
And the thing about it is you have to have goals that aren't the norm.
Yeah.
You can't have vague, I want a car. Okay, here's a 72 Pinto. I want a house. Okay, here's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You got to be more specific and more, do I want to be normal? Everybody has a Ford or a Chevy. Not that there's anything wrong with Ford or Chevy. But you start separating yourself when you go BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, Rolls Royce. You start separating yourself.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It may not have an engine, but it'll be parked in my house one day.
Yeah. We got about a minute left till the next break, and we're going to come back with David Bradley, the co-host today, and David Adams. It looks like we may have a caller. If you do have any questions for any of us, it's 520-790-2040. That's 520-790-2040. If any questions for David Adams or even Bradley or myself, give us a call. We'll be right back in a few minutes on The Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Sean Campbell. We're back on The Marketing Corner. I'm your host, Sean Campbell. And David, why don't you see who's on the line?
Let's see. Let's see. Patch her through. Oh,
yeah. Who do we got?
Carla.
We have
I know that.
Carla.
I know
Who's
Carla. I know Carla.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. Hi. I asked for David Adams because I wanted to tell him hi, okay, because you told me to call in.
Well, hello, Carla. I'm very pleased to talk to you today because you're a fan of the show and your son, and he's been speaking very highly of you, and I'm very glad to talk to you.
Well, thank you, because I told him to tell everybody hi there at the studio, and he goes, well, call in, Mom.
So my mom says hi everywhere.
Yeah, so anyway, no, and I watch you play football for the U of A.
Thank you.
And because I've been out here for 51 years, and I can't move back to the cold. So anyway, but anyway, no, I appreciate everything you're doing, okay?
Thank you so much.
And I've heard a lot of good things about you from my David, okay, too. So anyway, well, you guys have a good day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right. That was nice. I like when your mom calls in, David Bradley.
That is more than nice, because it's not just a support thing. It's I'm paying attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And mothers are the queen of paying attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's acknowledgement and knowing that, David, I mean, you make a difference.
Well, I think. Thank you for saying that. I think it's my son makes a difference, and whatever he's doing, I'm going to support, and that's key. There's a lot of parents that only jump on the bandwagon when things are well. When my son graduated from wherever, that's when they're involved in it. But he's a mechanic now, so they don't talk about it. But there's nothing wrong with being a mechanic.
He's probably the best damn mechanic
Yeah.
The question is that what he wanted to do? If that's what he wanted to do, then you got to be happy for him.
Right. Yeah.
But if he's just going job to job to job to job, you want to have a conversation with him. Or her.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something during the break we were talking about David Adams, how I admit it, one of my biggest flaws is having this little chip on my shoulder. But you just said something that was completely powerful to me right now. It's going to resonate with me for a while.
Yep.
It's like instead of trying to prove somebody
prove
wrong,
yourself right.
Prove that I'm right.
Prove yourself right. Yeah.
I
wrote it down.
That little twist in the mentality.
That twist is it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Except once you do it, you just answered it and you can move on. See, if you're trying to prove somebody wrong, you got to go find these people and say, "Aha! What did I tell you?"
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you gotta go find the argument.
Right.
When you accomplish something, you're trying to prove something to yourself. Once it's done, you're like, "Hey, I knew it."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what are you doing now? What's Black Rhino?
Black Rhino, it's a venture capital company that I started about 4 or 5 years ago. But I've always been in the finance type of business. So what we do is more like venture capital. People come to me, they bring me business plans, and I try to find investors that want to invest in that particular thing. Yeah. So I have certain investors do real estate, certain investors to do this, and certain investors to do that. Hey, if the business plan makes sense, somebody will put some money into it.
Yeah. Do you work primarily with people here locally, or just everywhere? Or?
Oh, it's Black Rhino International.
International.
LLC. So I have some people down in Mexico that like to do stuff. So it's it's a tough business, and it's very rewarding at times. But there's some times, boy, that Mickey D money is a lot of money because it comes in lumps. You may go make 30,000 in January, then 1,500, 1,500, 0, 30,000. So at the end of the year, you say, "Oh my God, I made $100,000 this year," but it was so spread out. It seems like $25 because you're always paying back.
Yeah.
So it has its days.
Yeah. For somebody who wants to position their business to be attractive to an investor, what are some things that those investors are looking at in that business?
Good question, man.
Cash flow, and don't be lying when you put your business plan together. See, a lot of times people put a business plan together and they got all the numbers, and then I'll be reading, I say, "Well, you need $300,000. So when are you going to start stealing the money?" And they look at me like, "Hey, what? I don't steal it." I said, "Well, you have no salaries in here. So if you have no salaries, how are you going to live?"
Right.
Because what you're saying is it's going to take this much to run the business, but you have no salary in there, so you mean that you have to steal.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
Because this is the business that's going to take you to the promised land according to what you wrote, and you have no salaries in there, even if it's just a minimum salary, $2,500, $3,000. So you're saying, okay, he's going to be living off this, and this is what's going to happen. See, a lot of people they want the money so bad, they're afraid to ask for what they need.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And what happens is they ask for $300,000, you give them $300,000. 6 months later, they need 200 more. Well, you should ask for 500 in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now to go back to that person, they're like, "Oh, you don't even know what the hell you're doing."
Yeah.
And you're in a situation.
Yeah. And on the flip side, what makes an investor somebody is a good person that you would feel comfortable, letting them into your business and invest into your business? What should that business be looking for from an investor?
Potential. If we get this, we can go to the next level of this business. For example, let's take this business right here. If we get enough funding on this, we'll be able to do television. And we won't be ESPN, but we'll be the local ESPN that does all the local sports. And we can have the highlights and this and that. And that's why we need $2 million to take it to the next level from just a voice podcast to a visual podcast. And that's where the money is.
Yeah.
You see, you got to, but you got to explain it like that.
Yeah.
David, let me ask you this too. As far as investing in a business, venture, capitalists and so forth, when you invest in a business or you get the people to fund a business, how does that look like? I mean, I know every business is going to be different, right? I mean, okay, we're going to give you $500,000 for 20% equity, 10% equity, whatever the case may be. I mean, does it vary?
Yeah, very much so. Because sometimes you don't want to. Most people don't want to give up any equity in their company, but a lot of times you have to because that's the only collateral you got.
Right.
Even though venture capital means the odds of us losing the money is high, you just can't be in a position to where I need $5 million and I don't want to give up any equity. So what are you going to secure?
But I'll give you 10% or interest,
even worse,
or whatever.
They want to give up. They want $5 million, and they'll give you 10% of the company, which is saying their company is worth, $500 million, and it's a landscaping company that has one truck. How did you come up with these numbers?
Yeah.
See, that's the other thing. How did you come up with the numbers that you came up with? On the other side, they'll say, we need $500,000 for A, B, C, D, and salaries is $474,000 in salaries. So everybody's getting paid. You got $30,000 to make the business run. So you're going to be living for 2-3 years, really good. But the odds of me getting my money back is extremely. Well, I'm not getting my money back under that scenario, and that's what a lot of people do. Either they don't ask for no money, or they ask for damn near all the money in salaries.
Yeah.
And when you flip the coin, would you do this? Well, of course. No. Maybe not.
Yeah. It intrigues me, man. It really does. I mean, I think it's Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I had this. It actually turned into a bait, but a question, David, is how much does the strength of an online presence add to a value, or does it add anything when an investor is looking into a company and they see that their website's strong, their online presence, they got a big social media following? Does any of that matter to an investor?
It does, depending on the business. Because if you got a strong online presence, but like I said, it's a landscaping business. What does that have to do?
Yeah.
So you got a strong online presence. Are these your customers as well, or you got 10 million people in Tucson and that are following your landscaping company?
Yeah.
And all of them have you come and do, one house a month.
Yeah.
See, an online presence only works if you're doing stuff online or selling something.
If you're converting them, right?
Product, you got a product to sell.
Right. And it really was a debate. I won't say who it was, and this business broker said it has zero influence. Well, and I was like, I will respectfully disagree with you, sir.
Well, without a doubt.
But it depends on the business, right? Like David said.
Look at the.
If I'm selling sneakers,
the Tyson fight,
right?
The Tyson fight.
Yeah. Great example.
Hello.
Yeah.
Mike's 97 years old. This other guy can't beat me up, and they got $200 million to split.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, we got one more segment left in the marketing corner.
That's it.
About 30 seconds before we hit the break. So if you have any questions for us in the last segment, it's 520-790-2040. We have co-host David Bradley and special guest today, David Adams. We'll be back in a minute. We are back in the marketing corner. I am your host, Sean Campbell, and the way we always start the last segment is thanking John, our engineer, for helping us through this and make sure we stay out of trouble. Thank you, John.
The man.
We got our marketing corner sponsors, including Bill Netherton from Professional Bartenders Unlimited, of course, David Bradley, Medicare A to Z.
Yes, sir.
Candace Eaton, Seaton Photography, Danny McPadden, Last Bridge Media. I'll be meeting with Danny on Monday to go over some new stuff. Juan J.D. Delgado with Roofs Are Hot. Mo Russo, Executive Business Coach. Robert Callison from E-Force Marketing. And our newest sponsor is Spark Project Collective, which I will be visiting right after the show. I'll be seeing, checking them out, doing some video, doing some photos for them. So
maybe I'll stop in real quick.
Yeah, just step in. Let's get you a new tattoo.
There you go.
Are you
Ad
covered?
No, just one. I got one. I have one. It's a big one, but it's
by the end of the day, David Adams, he's going to have two. Maybe
no, he has one. It just covers his whole body.
I want to do that. I want to do right here on the cheek, right here.
No.
We were talking about Mike Tyson, on the break.
Yeah.
Well, when you do that, you're self-sufficient. You should be.
Yeah, it should be.
Don't put facial tattoos and need a job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think that would resonate with your audience.
I would never do that. I would never do that. I mean, right now I have facial hair, man. That's
as it
enough.
is, you've kept the same hairdo for the last 25 years. It works.
I have, man.
You got to stick with what works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just gets shorter and shorter. My forehead gets getting bigger and bigger.
David Adams, what's on your horizon? The rest of this year, going into next year. What are some of your biggest goals?
World domination has always been something that. Actually, what I'm trying to do is get it to where I don't have to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to acquire a couple companies here that can get my cash flow right to where I can think. Because when your cash flow is wrong, you can't think.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh,
amen.
Oh, I'm going to take over this project. TEP's calling.
Yep.
Oh my God! Yeah, right, electric. When you're thinking about your electric bill, your phone bill, it's very difficult to be successful when you have to think about those big, small things.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to acquire a couple companies here, transportation companies that I think can do a lot for the community. I think Arizona has 300 days of sunshine, and I don't think Tucson has taken advantage.
Yeah, it's true.
How can you have this type of weather and we have problems
right.
For example, we got to get baseball back.
Yes. Yeah.
And
that's the big talk the last 2 weeks.
I'm just a regular baseball fan.
Yeah.
But with this weather, everybody moved to Phoenix for a reason.
With the history that Tucson has with AAA baseball in particular, and the Wildcats as good as they are, how do we not have a team that, I get it. I get the economics of it all. But still, how do we not have a dozen, 2 dozen spring training games down here?
It's about money, man. It's all up north.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
It is. It's all up north, man.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is Phoenix seems to anticipate things better than Tucson.
Yeah.
For example, they'll say, well, if 20,000 people are moving here a month, we're going to have to widen these streets now.
Yeah.
Tucson will say, 20,000 people are moving here this month. We'll widen it in 2050.
Right, yeah. Wait 10 years, 10,
and
20 years.
Complain about the potholes and we can't get across town. And
I moved here in '89, and they're barely getting the Grant Road right now.
How does that work?
I don't know.
No,
but it's true.
We have 4 freeways: I-10, Grant, Speedway, Broadway.
You remember the suicide lanes? Remember the suicide lanes were the answer?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I remember the suicide lane. There's many
the snowbirds and that now.
There's many people that are not alive today because of, not from an accident, because they wouldn't go. They were in the turn lane, so somebody got out, cussed them out, and beat them with a bat.
Yeah. So
that's what they call suicide.
Yeah. But it's debatable whether Keno was built in the right spot or not. I like the ballpark, but is it where it should be?
That's the thing about it is that when you mess up like that, marketing covers it up.
Right. Yeah. Beautiful field. How many baseball games are played on that field every year?
Why aren't we having more concerts there?
There was maybe 10 this last week. No, 7 games. 7 games this last week.
Well, outside of that tournament, how many baseball games or concerts are there every year?
Do they still have the KMFA days here?
They used to have the fairgrounds. I think they've had a
They had a Keno, yeah.
But still, David Adams is right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
We as far as entertainment is concerned, there is none here.
Mm-mm.
If you're not a gambler, you go to the casino.
Yeah.
Hey, there was a good concert last night.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's when you can name something like that, that means it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, last night there was a good show.
Yeah.
So that means it's not
consistent.
Common.
Yeah.
The last great concert I went to here in Tucson, and I'll never forget this. It was Elton John. It was at TCC, right?
What,
So
80
like
something?
79?
No. It was like 7 years ago. It was 7 years ago.
What? In
Yep.
Tucson?
Actually,
John came to Tucson?
This month will be 8 years ago. I'll never forget this because that's when my stepdad died during that concert.
Are you sure he wasn't just driving through?
No,
hello?
it was a concert, man. It was a great concert, but that was 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since then, they said, "Oh, this is his last tour."
Yeah.
He did 2 shows in Phoenix. Maybe a couple years ago, what have you.
Yeah.
But they perform here, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Santana, Pima County Fair,
Right.
years and years and years ago. Then he made it big with Rob Thomas from Matchbox.
Well, it was that
20?
one particular CD, and he had all the guests on there.
Yeah, that one song he did, boom,
Yeah.
never came back to Tucson.
Yeah. Let's bring baseball back. The 3 of us.
Yep.
Let's bring baseball
Well,
back.
I think it's important to have entertainment because we don't want to do anything. There's no nightclub to go to, especially if you're over 40.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, let me put it to you like this: there's nowhere to dress up in Tucson.
That's
No,
true.
There's
You
not.
can go
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
can go anywhere in town in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yep.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, the big craze in what's taken over Tucson is pickleball.
Oh yeah.
That's all JD talks about is
I
pickleball.
know.
We're talking about that a few
gonna
weeks
get
ago.
into
That's
it.
all we
I'm-
talked about on this show.
I'm
is
gonna
pickleball.
try and get into it.
You're going to hurt yourself.
I'm intrigued. Man. No. Come on.
You're going to shoot your eye out.
Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, they're pickleball champions, man.
Yeah,
They should be.
Yeah.
You know.
So all you need is an Andre Agassi in your life, David.
There you go.
I'm not
Shake my head.
I'm not saying you're Steffi or anything. I'm just saying.
I think he's trying to hint that there may be some interesting things in your life. I'm just guessing.
David Adams got that. He got it.
Yeah,
He
I
knew what I was
did.
saying.
Yeah,
He knew what I
I
was
had
saying.
started to scoot over a little bit.
Oh, come on.
Interesting.
What excites you about U of A football now, David?
Not much. Only from the standpoint is I don't understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
If I've been in something
yeah.
for 60 years and I don't understand what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And what I'm really having a problem with is when the head coach gets on and he's like, gosh darn it, we're so upset that we lost. Wow, man, I just don't understand it. I'm like,
Like participation trophies?
it was
Oh, boy.
40 to
Oh, boy.
nothing at halftime and you're gosh darning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't expect
Yeah.
you to come out there and just cuss everybody out, but I expect you to be
Fired
very
up.
upset
Right.
with your staff,
Right.
with
Fired
the
up.
team,
Yeah.
and get on this. You know what? This is not going to happen
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
With some authority, not.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're trying our best at practice.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it,
Do
you.
you like the move to the Big 12?
A conference is a conference, man. The thing about it is that I know it's all about money,
Yeah.
so the money's being divided up evenly, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just don't like the fact that you never know what the hell is going on.
That's true. I do like it from the basketball perspective. I mean, every game is tough in this conference.
yeah.
I love it.
You
I
never
think
know
the
who-
teams.
you never who's
I
gonna
think the
show up.
team's going to be way more prepared for the tournament because instead of playing Cal and Stanford and Washington State,
Oregon State.
yeah, we're going up against Iowa State and Houston and Baylor and Kansas and the big dogs in basketball. Love
Yeah.
it. I don't care that we've lost 7, 8 games. I mean 9 games. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're
You know what's
a
funny is
tough team.
we're ranked. What are we ranked? Number 24 right now.
Yeah. That's what
I
something
like
like that.
Yeah.
And we're still second in the Big 12.
We're such a
second,
tough team.
Or tied for second in the Big
I
12.
love it. I don't mind these losses. I
Yeah.
don't, because they're against really good teams.
Yeah.
And I think for the tournament, we're going to be way more prepared than
I hope so.
a 21-3 Pac-12 team was. I love my Wildcats. What every sport.
We'll see. Today's going to decide a lot of
still,
stuff.
yeah.
The game
yeah.
at what, 2:00 today?
Yeah.
Last game of
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to decide
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, but I love it though. I do. I can't wait. I just hope that the impact on women's sports is not going to be that drastic.
See, the thing about women's sports is that you're separated. You're separated by the records.
Yeah.
What I mean by
Yeah.
the 100-meter champion man is this and this
Mhm.
woman is that. I understand that, but you got to go and you've got to make everything the same level of excitement.
Right.
If
right.
you watch women's basketball,
Right.
you got a slew of jump shots And if you get a dunk, the world stops.
Yeah.
She dunked 9 times this season. I'm like, okay, but
yeah,
you got to get it to a level to where it's similar.
Right.
And I think the fundamentals, women's fundamentals, is right up there with men.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because they actually run the play that the coach called.
Right.
Because they are not as athletic in certain ways. But I just it's difficult for me to watch 400 jump shots and 600 layups in one game.
Yeah. David Adams, do you have a website or an email address in case someone wants to get a hold of you and talk investments or anything?
Websites are for people that want to be successful. And unfortunately, I'm working on mine right now. Because you gotta have a website nowadays because people don't like to talk as much as they used to.
Yeah.
So they want to go to the websites and get things done. But people can call me at 520-312-7029. And if you got questions or on things like that, because I'm willing to help a lot of people do a lot of different things without the mandatory fee just to say hello to somebody.
I got you on speed dial, buddy.
And I have my office is on River Road, 2200 River Road, and come by and you'll see Black Rhino, and we can make some things happen.
Yeah, it really, I'm not saying this, it's really an honor to meet you and
I'm having
spend
a
this
blast.
hour with you and, just share all these stories.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So glad you're here, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was phenomenal for me.
Yeah. David Bradley, David Adams, thank you so much. We'll see everybody next week on The Market.